Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Crypto Crayfish here. Super excited today. We're gonna start and get right into it because today I bought the equivalent of $24,000 of Ethereum. That's a lot of money. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Here's the order right here. You can see I filled 590 shares of ETH at $20.27. Let me save you the math. That's right around 12 grand. And ETH, as you know, is leveraged. So we're actually looking at 2 times 12 grand for exposure to Ethereum. So around 24K. Yeah, it's time to kind of get moving. I do not want to be left behind. Frankly, I am more nervous right now that I'm not going to be able to get my capital all the way in a smart way, than I am in the investment strategy or how the actual returns are going to go when I am in. I feel like Bitcoin has been ripping people's faces off, and if Ethereum's following it, I never know when we might break past 100K, all those types of things, and I might never see these prices again. So I'm really starting to load up on dips. This was quite a nice one. We got a dip from around 3,400 down to right around 3,000 right now, which is just a little bit over 10% dip. And that's the type of pullback I'm loading the boat on, as we've talked about. So yeah, you can see I'm filling things. This is huge. I'll keep you updated as I kind of load up on ETH. You may ask why today? Why is now the time he's choosing to pull the trigger on 24K of ETH? And the answer is right over here. We're going to look at this ETH BTC chart. It is super exciting today, guys. Honestly, it's pretty wild to look at. So this might look kind of non-interesting to you, but if you break it down, we have just broken below 0.034 on the ETH BTC chart. And for those of you that don't know, that is a new low for this cycle. And that is awesome. That means it's huge buying opportunities. I can't tell you where the exact bottom is. If anyone claims they can, they are lying to you. But I do know that timing wise and market cycle ROI wise, it should be near. It should be. My guess is around 0.03. Maybe we go a little bit lower than that. We'll just have to see. Frankly, this week's candle has been pretty insane. If you just look at a 5-day here, I mean, look at this. It has been nothing but down, straight diagonal line downwards. We've gone from 0.04 all the way back to 0.0338. And that's a big deal because they're traditionally in the space, when you close a week above the 50-day SMA, you are likely looking at the bottom being in for ETH BTC. We did that last week, and then this week, it turned out to be a total fake out, right? We have achieved a new low. And so what that means to me is the trend is still intact. I don't think it will be intact for much longer. And frankly, it's impossible to tell when it's just going to rocket up past the 50-day SMA and the bottom's going to be in for ETH BTC. So that's why I'm starting to buy in huge fistfuls. I really think we don't have much more time, maybe 6 weeks. I would like to be all the way in by Christmas. That's kind of my goal here. Right now, I am, right around a third of my position is in. So, yeah, just keeping you posted there. It looks like, as we're speaking, Ethereum may be cooking even lower. Yeah, we're at $3,031, and we'll talk about ETHUSD in a little bit here. I think there's some option. I think we're finding some support around that $3,000 mark. But I also think with ETH BTC breaking down, if Bitcoin has any sort of even small pullbacks, I think it could break Ethereum off that $3,000 pair. But first, let's look at here. I'm going to add an indicator for you guys. I'll show you the 50-day SMA. Sure. I'll use this guy. All right, so here's ETH BTC. We are gonna zoom out a little bit. All right, and you can see here last week we closed above. Let's actually zoom out further. Yeah, here we go. This is a good view. So this strong bolded line here is the 50-day SMA. And you can see after, so we got this breakdown below the prior low, 44.0447. And right when that broke down, around early August, when we had the big scare with the Japanese yen and the carry trade unwind, since then, that's when we've kind of been in this capitulation phase of ETH BTC really going down a lot. And as you can see, it's been a pretty strong downtrend since. And this line has been, the 50-day SMA has been acting as clear resistant, right? We tagged it here. We almost tagged it again here. We almost tagged it again here. So as you can see, like this is what's really been pushing ETH BTC down. Every time it's gotten close to closing above it, it's gotten pushed down again. And so that's where, once you get a weekly close above this 50-day SMA and it stops being resistance, that's usually when the bottom is in. That's what's happened in past cycles. If I can go back here, I'll show you a past cycle. Let's go look at 2019. And if you look here, right, here's the 50-day SMA. Here's just like last time, right? We broke below the prior low at right around, back then it was right here at about 0.026, and we broke below it right here. So July 2019, also the summer of the halving year, not a coincidence. Again, Bitcoin operates in 4-year cycles. And you come back over here, and at the point of that breakdown, we did not cross again above the 50-day SMA until right here in February. And at that point, the bottom was already in. We had already hit our lowest valuations on ETH BTC that probably we will ever see again, but definitely for that cycle. So let's go back to the current day. We got our close. You can see here. Looks a little weird right now. There we go. That's better. You can see last week we got a close a good ways above the 50-day SMA. And this week that is proving to be a fake out. So breaking from prior trends a little bit, the bottom was not in when it had a weekly close above the 50-day SMA. We are at a new low. And that right there is a gift. You guys need to see that as the Christmas holiday gift that it is, because this move was massive. And that's an inkling of what can happen when it really starts to move. And you never know when that bottom's going to be. And so frankly, the fact that we got a little bit more time down here to accumulate and even some new lows is pretty amazing. And I'm taking advantage. Let's go over to ETHUSD for a little bit. So I'm going to take off this indicator because it's annoying me. And let's zoom out here. All right, so right now you can see there's kind of this line. And again, trend lines are really not my favorite, guys. They really can be subjectively created to kind of prove a lot of things that you want to prove. But I'll just lay this one out here just for general broad market structure, right? We connect all these tops. We ignore these little wicks. We're just looking at closes. And it's pretty exact. We just tagged that resistance that we've had since March, right? So Bitcoin was in this lower high structure. I can show it to you right here. I'll draw it for you. Connect, connect, connect. And you can see the clearest, beautiful breakout maybe you'll ever get. Day traders, pay attention. You break the trend line, you retest the trend line, you hold it as support, and then you rip. That right there, classic freaking setup, especially when you're on this big of a time scale. I mean, this is 7-8 months of consolidation, and then a breakout, a clear back test, and a rip. It doesn't get more clear than that, right? That's what a bullish chart looks like. You look at the ETHUSD, you're kind of like, well, we're still putting in lower highs as far as ETHUSD is concerned since March. We have not had that same breakout that we've seen on Bitcoin. And that to me means that, there's still some pain to be had in the market. Now, do I think we're going to get new lows below like $2,000 for the year? Honestly, no, I'm not really convinced. I think it's possible, but I think we'd need strong negative market in other ways, right? We need stock markets to really sell off. We need other trouble in the space. We need a recession. Frankly, I don't think it's that likely in the short term. I think this will keep retesting until it breaks. But again, that's where I'm kind of like, you are relatively early as far as it goes for Ethereum, right? We are at new ETH BTC lows for the cycle. That means returns are still available, right? Bitcoin ripping now. Do you want to buy the stock that's already been up 2,000%, or do you want to buy the stock that's getting ready for a breakout, right? The gains are in the one that is getting ready for a breakout. And I think that's Ethereum here. This rejection, frankly, thank goodness. If it had just ripped through, I would not be able to load in 80K of a position. So I'm buying dips here. I hope we get a pullback back to this kind of prior consolidation. There's some highs here that, again, I'm not a huge chart line guy. I think they can really be misleading sometimes, but I will put one on here for the sake. And you can see some prior resistance, and that will probably be pretty good support at around 2773. Mid 27s, maybe 2700 as a low for that support. And that's where I'm hoping. I think if we get a break of 3K, I think we're looking down towards that area. And that's where I would look to put about another 25K of ETH exposure on the table. And from there, if it goes any lower, that's where I'm looking to put the other half of my position in. If we get a bounce, maybe I'm buying back up here with the rest of my position. So that's generally what I'm thinking as far as my portfolio. Let's go back to ETH BTC because we are getting new lows as we speak. Let's go to the 1 day here. Wow, that is a bad chart. I don't know if you guys have this issue, but TradingView really doesn't provide a good 1 day for me. So yeah, I'm gonna just take it on let's take it on a 1 month. This is pretty cool to see. I mean, you had this huge bounce and it just was a fake out. And we are liquidating longs right now. I mean, 337 as of, again, earlier this week we're at 0.04. That is a we're looking at a a 21% drop. And so ETH has, if you had bought this high over here in around 0.04 range, you would have underperformed Bitcoin by about 25% this week, right? And so, when you start taking percentages, if Bitcoin's up, whatever, 10, what's it up this week? Probably right around 10%. And so, you're only looking at, 2.5% return. But again, a 25% drawdown comparison to BTC is pretty freaking major, especially for a 1 week move. So I think this is a great buying area. I'm excited about it, and as you can see, I'm putting my money to work. As far as how low this will go, guys, I mean, it's hard to say. We can look at the long-term chart, and first of all, I want to say you haven't had these chances to buy this ETH at these prices compared to BTC since March 2021. That is pretty dang sweet, guys. That right there is what you call a discount. That's a holiday sale. So take it or leave it. It's up to you. Again, I think not financial advice, but for me, I'm buying this holiday. I think it's huge. Yeah, as far as where it could bottom, again, I don't claim to be the master technical analysis. I don't really know. I mean, I can put basic lines on a chart like literally anyone can do. You can do this. I encourage you to do this at home. It's really fun. I'll put another one because why not? More lines on a chart makes you smarter, right? And yeah, so here are some lines I have randomly selected based on prior tops and bottoms. We are actually at one right now. If you look at this little top right here, we are dead center at that guy. And I think if we break that, which I think is likely, we might get a little bounce. But I think if we break that, we're looking towards that 0.0315, and then below that 0.03. And if we break 0.03, we could go down to 0.028 and even 0.026. But again, I think that's probably less likely. I think 0.03 is probably near the bottom. I'd be stoked if we get any lower than we're at right now. So, again, I'm buying. Let's hope that Bitcoin has a little bit of a pullback and we can see some lower ETHUSD prices. That'd be really helpful too for our portfolios. Only other thing I will note today, guys, we are having some pretty strong. So the dollar has been melting faces off. Not sure if you've seen this, but yeah. So again, me drawing lines on a chart. That's a major level of resistance right there. Okay, the dollar has not been consistently above 107 since November 2022 when we were in peak inflation. If we break back above 107, you are probably going to see risk off for a little bit. You're probably going to see the stock market sell off. You're probably going to see Bitcoin and Ether pause for a bit. And again, I'm kind of pro that scenario. I would like to continue loading the boat at lower prices. I think it would be really actually healthy for the market to get a little bit of pullback. I think when it just rips and rips and rips, it can be really unsustainable. So I hope we get that move. Honestly, we haven't really gotten it yet. We've hit it multiple times. I can show you in the last 5 days. Again, trash chart, but you can see we're hitting right up against that 107 level. We hit it 3 times yesterday. It didn't break. We're back down to mid 106s. I think it's possible that it takes a little while for us to break out, but I think the fight's definitely not over yet. So again, if that breaks out, be looking for lower prices in risk assets and take advantage. I really do think it would be a short-term thing rather than a longer-term thing. The only other thing I'll point out is this is a great chart. This is the U.S. 10-year bond yield minus the U.S. 3-month bond yield. And you can see we've been negative for a long time, right? Here's 0. We went negative as of October 2022. So it has been over 2 years that we've been negative on this. And finally this week, we went positive. Right? Just briefly. Is it going to show it? Give me a 5-day. It can't do a 5-day on that chart. But anyway, yeah, I promise it went positive. It went to about 0.06. It's not a massive move, but I think that uninverting, traditionally, if there's going to be a scare of a recession or something like that, or a little bit of a pause in the market, now kind of seems like the time for that. So I think in the next few weeks, be looking at the dollar, be looking at whether that 10-year, 3-year stays back in the positive territory, back uninverted. And yeah, be watching ETHUSD, be watching ETH BTC. Again, I think your ETH BTC, you're at great freaking buying levels. ETHUSD maybe a little bit less so, but that's only because Bitcoin's at 90K. So I think if Bitcoin pulls back a little bit, you could get some really nice prices. Yeah, please let me know what you're thinking of these videos. You know, I'm newer to the YouTube thing, and happy to kind of cater conversations or future videos to what people have questions on, what they want to hear thoughts on, those types of things. And yeah, look forward to talking some more. I will keep you posted on how everything's going. Cheers. Have a wonderful day.